so we are doing Double Shot of Love, and we are doing it mostly because we are too stubborn to quit.
Okay.
So,
so what happened?
So the editing on this is getting kind of weird. I feel like at some point they got off, and their editors are like, it's going to be we can't end on the cab ceremony every week. Or maybe something big happens later on in the season to where they're like, we're going to need to devote a whole episode, and so we're only going to be able to do that if we start pushing, because they got to the cab ceremony, and I went, the show can't be over, and we looked, and it was like 28 minutes into the episode, and I was like, well, that's really weird.
Nikki the Liar goes home.
No, stop it. So we know that we have a very unpopular opinion. We just I don't really.
Mainly because it's right.
I mean, she seems pretty enough. I don't have any real issue with her. I don't.
Well, she's a terrible person and a liar.
Well, we're gonna get some angry comments about that, but that's fine. You can do that. I don't think she's a terrible person, a liar. I think she's difficult. I mean, I don't. This is not going to be.
So what happened this episode?
This is not going to be an easy person to date. Anyway, so they start off with, they do a challenge. Now this is the thing, is the girls can both, the idea that, oh, well, people are jealous of her. Yeah, they clearly are. They clearly are focused way too much on her. She is 1,000% right on that.
Yep.
They in this whole, women in general, based on the studies, that they tend to form group unities, and they try to kind of get everyone in line, and it's really great for certain aspects. On a show like this where you're competing for the affection of one person,
or two,
it's kind of working against them. Like, yeah, I get it, everybody liked the girl that went home. That's not Nikki's fault. Like, they're like, oh, I just want to, that has nothing to do with her. There are
two guys on this, huh?
Yeah, I know. Poor Vinny, man.
It should be the DJ Jazzy Jeff show.
Well, and the thing about it is that it should just clear cut be like the three girls that like Vinny should just get an automatic pass to the end, because what? It's gonna be like Vinny's gonna be like, hey guys, I'm just here to help my buddy pick out someone. So anyway, they compete. Nikki wins. She gets a date. She picks Pauly D. Least surprising thing
in the world.
And then being like angry about it. It's like, well, it was a competition. I guess you should have gotten your little butt moving a little faster. I do not. I want to get clear that the issues I have with her are not like, someone got all bad in the comments.
She's not a likable person. Anyway.
But I mean, the point is, they would benefit the other girls to not focus on her and to do their own thing, because clearly she's not getting in the way of Pauly kissing girls. And secondly, some of them should be looking a little harder at Vinny. Right? Anyway, every time Holly talks, it just breaks my heart, because I'm like, oh, girl, I've been there. And they're like, well, you want a fairy tale. It is not a fairy tale to want to be with someone who wants to be with you. They're like, well, it might be a fairy tale to want to be with one of them too. You know what I mean? But they act like it's just ridiculous. I want to be with someone who's really into me. Oh, where did you get this crazy idea?
This is not the show for that.
Well, I mean, my point, though, is that when I dated you, you were crazy about me.
Yep.
And from our first date, I dated no one else. Now, I didn't introduce you as my boyfriend for quite a few months, but I wasn't flirting with, I wasn't talking, I wasn't dating anyone else. We spent every second together. I was interested in everything you were interested in. That's not crazy. That's called falling in love. And it's totally reasonable that she wants that experience. It's a little silly to think you're going to get it on this TV show. But there you go. So they sent Holly home. And I'm like, good. Cut her free so she can fly off and find her whatever else is going on in her life. I will say it was interesting to me that when they cut her loose, yeah, she gave him a hard time. I would have been like, cut your losses, be like, this just was not working, and then be like, yeah. But I will say that I think it's the first time I've seen them both walk a girl to the car and say, like, let's keep in touch.
They weren't worried about getting shanked.
Yeah, well, it was just kind of funny to me, because I was like, this whole, like, yeah, let's definitely keep in touch. Of course, I'm going like, no, they're not keeping in touch. Yeah, no. But it was just really interesting to me. The baby so I kind of missed a little bit. Like, I assumed the girls also walked him out, but they had this moment with the guys, and I was like, oh, that's actually, that was really interesting to me. You know, I thought it was nice, given that they had no interest in her, and they strung her along. Yeah, keep trying. Don't try. And then they were going to get rid of one more girl, and they didn't. And I was like, okay. Why build that up so much? And then they had the last.
Other people lose their mind.
Well, they go on a plane, and I admit I actually know a surprising number of people who've died in small plane accidents. Someone just recently, a colleague, her husband, the plane caught on fire and was killed like 2 weeks ago. So I kind of get that, and I will tell you that if you have something like anxiety, it's common to be like, oh, I'll take a drink so I don't care. Well, then the problem with that is that you've set that pendulum in motion. So 1 second you are totally fine. The next second you are absolutely having a panic attack. And I have had my share of panic attacks in an airport. I'm not scared of flying, but I did try traveling with my mother, and that gave me a full-blown panic attack.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That would give
so
anybody a
do I
panic
know,
attack.
so this whole thing about, well, she's just acting enough to hold Pauly's hand. I don't know. That is a possibility. Another possibility is that she has flying anxiety. And I do admit that if I was
It's
upset,
annoying either way.
well, if I was genuinely having a panic attack after drinking a bunch, and a bunch of people were like, "Ooh!" and like screaming, that would not help me at all.
There were like 8 other girls, however many there are. I wouldn't gravitate towards the crazy one.
Yeah, well, fair enough, but you did. So
Burn on you.
self-burn. Anyway, we'll finish up the season. I know no one likes our recaps, but I guess we're just stubborn, and I
Don't
guess
care what you think.
our
Let us know what you think down in the comments.
our hate likes still get us paid.